Your comment? Oh, Mother of God. Okay,
She be making a comment?
all right. I call the meeting to order at 6:01 and welcome any and all visitors here to the meeting and ask if they have any comments they'd like to make. They're unrelated to the agenda items. I'm being seen. I'm going to ask Scott, do we have any changes to the agenda, Scott?
No, sir.
Okay, we want to approve the minutes of April 16th, 2024. Somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of April 16th, 2024.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of April 16th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, second one is approve the minutes of April 25th, 2024.
I make a motion we approve the minutes of April 25th, 2024.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Scott?
Under action items, the select board to possibly approve the bid from Zaluzny at $32.45 cubic yard for gravel and $31.45 per cubic yard for ditch stone. And Marshall is with us.
Hello.
Hi.
So this is roughly a $2.50 increase from last year.
Really?
Since I worked for the town, I think it's gone up around $8 in the last 15 years. It's double the price.
Really? And they're just doing it for the sake of doubling. Is it really costing them that much more to do it? You're not going to know that. But
Fuel. So trucking's what's killing us. This material has to come from. This is closer than it normally comes from. This is coming out of. Brad Road, Colorado High School, Monument Road.
Which road?
Monument Road, I believe is the name of it.
Okay.
Right, is that Fort Drummer? Is that the name of the? Right, it's right back there.
Okay.
So the good thing about Zaluzny having the gravel is on the bad weather day that we're can't be out on the road working. We can truck some because it's close enough. So then we can truck it at a lot less of a price because this price includes trucking. So they'll take that much out. We'll save $100 truck load at least.
And was he the only bid?
No, so you should have.
Yeah, there were a couple of them.
We had
I didn't see the other one.
There
you
were a
got
bunch.
3 other ones. They range from Mitchell, who's had our gravel bid the last 3 years, I believe, was $33.60. And then Sosimo won't sell gravel no more.
Sosimo does not sell gravel.
They
Is that what you were saying?
They have not in the last 2-3 years. They ran out 3 years ago.
Okay.
They sell stone.
Okay.
And
We're
then,
taping this, so I wanted to make certain that it was an English.
I think the teacher
Okay?
income was coming out.
I just want, whoa,
right.
you know, Huckleberry Finn was something we all bet a long time ago. Okay.
I've been listening to it all day.
He was never in your class.
Oh, my God. Okay, but, right, I'm sorry. Yeah, there you go.
Partly with never sold us gravel is at $40.05.
Why do you bother?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty high.
The problem is, so they're cargo rates, all
Yeah, trucking.
based on distance.
Okay.
And once Sosimo runs out of, or not Sosimo, Zaluzny runs out of gravel, that's the problem is Vermont's not allowing it to happen in the state no more. So when they can't make gravel here anymore, they're going farther, so it's only going up. That's what's driving the cost of everything. Because Vermont does not allow it here. I'm sure every grandfather did. Can't do that.
So you're recommending this, I would think?
I am.
Okay.
So when's all these gravel pits? This
are used up, we'll have to truck from out of state.
Yes, and we have been until this year, the last 3 or 4 years. Mitchell's was coming out of New Hampshire over by Winchester.
Okay.
So they've been hauling out of state already. This time they're just hauling rates a little higher because it's.
Okay.
Didn't Wayne Course have a gravel pit over there in New Hampshire also at one point?
P. Catch still owns one there, but there's no gravel left in it.
Okay.
He has a what they call the Fletcher pit, which is just as you're going into West Bradwell on the left.
Oh, yeah, no, I remember that, yeah.
There's another person going in there. They have not bid. He is hauling from New Hampshire into there. And then Dover is actually buying some stuff out of there, but you have to truck yourself. They don't have no trucking.
Okay.
So that.
They don't have any trucking? Is that what it was?
We do not have any trucking.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so the bottom line is you're recommending the bid from Zeluzny at $32.45 a cubic yard for the gravel and $31.45 for the cubic yard for ditch stone. Okay. Someone like to make a motion on that?
Move to approve the bid from Zeluzny at $32.45 for gravel and $31.45 for ditch stone.
Do
Per
a
cubic
second?
yard.
Second.
All right, motion is second to approve the bid from Zeluzny at $32.45 for gravel and $31.45 for ditch stone. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Very much.
Thank you, Marshall.
Yeah, with my teacher.
Oh, God, who's that?
I don't know who she is.
Mother of,
That's what they wanted to correct.
mother of Jehovah. Okay, all right.
Proper communication, that's what we talked about today.
You do it well.
You realize only 5% of communication is done by verbal.
Really, okay. You realize that we are taping this? We want to make sure everybody knows exactly what you're saying. I think that's all. That's all. All right, I'm going to move to go into, I'm sorry, we're not going to do that.
No, we're not.
All right, we'll approve the land conveyance, legal notice and authorization resolution, right, Scott?
Okay, so what we will have for you, and need signatures, is normally what you've seen is notices and authorizing resolution consents for individual parcels as people have become interested in them and come to our attention. However, finance officer handling, a lot of the tax sales on the, all the backroom work with our town attorney has decided that we have a lot of land that we've accumulated through tax sale over the years, and that we should try to auction it. So at the same time that we're doing tax sale, we'll do the tax sale, and then this is auction of town-owned land.
Oh,
There's about 23 items, but I think maybe 34 parcels, give or take, included in this, and we will see whether or not we can actually auction them off. So that's the purpose. The highest bidder at public auction on June the 20th. That is the same date as the tax sale. We will post appropriately a week from Thursday with the Deerfield Valley News and the opportunity to contest is until June the 17th, I believe.
Yeah.
At the end of the day on June the 17th. So we've not had anybody contest any of these, but that's basically the time frame. So by the end of the day on the 17th, we should know whether we're going to auction all of these or if any of them have been contested. I'm not going to read through all of these, but we will post them. They'll be in the newspaper, and then we posted at 3 places, including downstairs. Other than that, it's the same as we have always had. We would just need a motion on the authorizing resolution and consent of the town of Wilmington Select Board, and a motion on the legal notice notice of terms of conveyance.
Before we have motions, can I ask a question, sir?
Of course.
On page 3 at the top, where there's a paragraph describing this action, could you please give me a thumbnail sketch?
Which one are you reading from?
Whereas the starting bids are as follows. However, the town will authorize the town attorney to reduce the price at auction at the discretion of the town manager should the property not first sell for the minimum bid or more. And then there's a series of properties and prices.
And your question is,
How low could they go?
what?
How low could they go? They may not satisfy the outstanding debt.
Well, yes, that is true, but we've been holding them without taking any taxes on all these properties for, some of them have been a long time.
That's fine.
But the idea is, in my view, to take a reasonable offer. So that's why it says highest bid, not necessarily minimum bid.
And I'm not allowed to bid on it. I'm asking.
It's a good question. The question would be,
As a select person.
I can tell you I could not bid on them, but that's because I'm contractual. I believe that you probably could.
Oh, good.
I think you just offer, if anyone here thinks that there's a conflict of interest there, but as a public person, I would think that you'd be able to bid.
Just clarifying.
What I want you to do, if you're thinking of doing that.
Yep.
You want to take a look at where this is and why they have never been sold.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I'm very sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm familiar with some of the
Once
properties.
once you see HS in front of them, that's.
I'm familiar with some of the properties already.
Holy mackerel.
All right.
Well, no, I want to make sure that I tried to talk Wayne Course out of him. Like, he just had to buy something. He bought 2 of them. I think it's back on the list again.
Thank you.
They're sold and they come back.
I mean, I personally think if the board does not object, that there's
Okay.
nothing wrong with it. And I think it's also your decision.
Just for information only, I'm not planning on
Yep.
taking any action at this time.
I think it's entirely your decision.
Thank you very much.
I would say the only other thing is that we always have an agent at the tax sale, so if you were thinking of bidding.
Wouldn't want to be the agent.
You cannot, yeah, you cannot be.
I think that's what happened last time.
Do you want to be the agent again?
No, I don't care if I do or not, but I think I was the agent one year and somebody said, you can't bid. if
Well, you
can't."
can't.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
That's completely fine.
Well, I think you were the agent last year, but we
There
didn't
weren't
go-
any,
we didn't go
Right,
any
that
yeah,
year.
properties
I think I
last
did the
year.
year
You
before.
did the year before,
Yeah.
yeah. Because last
That's
year
fine.
there weren't any then.
Thank you very much for just clarifying.
Is everyone
So
all
you
right?
need a motion?
Yeah, I just want to be sure everybody on the board is all right with the approach.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's a good idea.
So would someone like to make a motion?
I move to approve the land conveyance legal notice and authorizing resolution.
All right, go to second.
Second.
The motion to second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Signatures.
Right. I'm going to move to go into the liquor commission.
Second.
The only question I have on the liquor licenses, Scott, is we have a request to renew a first and third class renewal for Cask and Kiln.
Yeah.
Really?
They're serving ghosts now.
I
All the spiders.
Why
pretty
does she want
scary.
to just keep doing this?
don't know.
I wish they would open, but.
Well,
They do everything.
Huh?
They do it every year.
Yeah,
well, and of course I saw the paper where Dots is closing specifically because they couldn't obtain a liquor license, the new owners. And
Dots is
which
over.
I don't think that's true. That's, of course they can get a liquor license
In Dover.
in Dover.
Right, it's just because of probate.
Yeah.
So it didn't make any sense.
Doesn't have a designated owner, it doesn't throw it for it, not finished with whatever, so how can you apply if you're not, you can't show that you own business?
Okay, all right.
Yep.
But you could say you're leasing, you could come up and lease it to yourself. Couldn't you do something like that?
They can't do anything. There's an article in the paper about it. They're basically saying because of probate, they're done. It's taking too long.
Wonderful permit.
Well, it's been better. It's been a little better than it's been in the past. Not a lot. Anyway, okay, all right.
we're in liquor commission?
We're in the liquor commission.
Okay, I can't do this in one breath, but I'm gonna try. You ready?
One breath.
A first class and outside consumption renewal for Wilmington Village Pub and the Village Roost. A first and third class renewal for Castle Film Kitchen. A first and third class and outside consumption renewal for LNS Inc., doing business as North Star Pizza, and WHVT Hotel LLC, doing business as the White House. A request to cater permit and an open container ordinance exemption for W.I. Foster for an event at Rad 2's on May the 26th, 2024, from 12 to 3 p.m. And a special event permit for La Casita for an event at WW Building Supply on May 13th, 2024, from 4 to 6 p.m.
La Casita actually also has an open container ordinance exemption in here.
An exemption?
Yeah, because it's out in public. It's out in like a public parking lot,
Okay.
so they have to have an exemption.
Oh, WW, okay, all right.
Yep.
All right, exemption included, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. Anyone have any questions?
the chief has already seen them, signed off on all of them.
Okay, thank you. All right, somebody'd like to make a motion for all of them, all one shot.
I move to approve all the liquor licenses
Yeah,
that
that's
Scott Tucker and Jessica G. Francesco referenced.
All right, and we have a second.
Second.
All right, we have motion second to approve all of the liquor commission requests this evening. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? That carries. Scott, for the 1% option tax.
Out of liquor commission and to 1%.
Oh, yeah,
The
okay.
select board to possibly approve the 1% request from Sevens, the amount of $6,765, and Meg Stolliff is here representing EDCC Sevens.
Good evening. See everybody. It's like most times here. Adam sends his regrets. He got to another select board meeting at the same time. Tuesdays are popular. So this is our annual funding request. We send out the original request letter at the beginning of the fall, because in most towns it gets included in town meetings. So then we go do these visits ahead of select board budget season. But in Wilmington, because you usually opt to pay this request out of the 1% fund, we come at this time of year so that it's not strange when we send you a bill in July. So this is our annual funding request. We request funding from all 27 towns that are in our service area. And in the previous year, we had funding from 21 communities, including Wilmington. So we thank you for that. So really most of our service area, the towns do fund our work. And Wilmington has always been a place where we do a lot of work. And so you can see this that we send a report to the town report every year. And about the previous year, we've just done the Pipelines the Pathways program, just did a big event at Tree Valley High School. We all turned out for that. My program, the Southern Vermont Economy Project, frequently holds events in Wilmington because it's right in the middle, so it's great. And we always make sure that we select local purveyors when we do that for people in town. Our business service team obviously works across the county, but we did serve directly 7 different businesses in Wilmington last year, including some flood relief that we administer on behalf of the Vermont Community Foundation. I think that's about it. BDCC's team has helped progression with some grant administration for the Northern Waters Regional Commission work. That's another thing that we do for accounts when they have these complex federal grants, particularly Northern Borders. So that is how we serve you, and we've slightly changed our funding request. We updated all the requests to reflect the 2020 census this year. So the request we're making is slightly more than the past based on slightly higher population. Are there any questions?
So Meg, it says in here, in 2023, 21 communities representing 86% of Wyndham residents
Yes.
voted to invest in Sevens.
Yes.
So does that mean some towns voted not to?
Some towns either did not approve a request at town meeting or did not care to include the request on their town report. or have processes that are not a good use of our staff time, to like lengthy petitioning.
Okay.
Towns that have not been supportive in the past. So yes, and this year, I will say if Wilmington approves us, I think we'll be up to 22 towns.
Oh, good.
This year, so we lost one, gained two. So it does happen sometimes when you sit in front of voters at town meeting that your request will be voted down. You never like to be the staffer in that town meeting, but it wasn't me this year, but we all know it could be at any year, so.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Yeah, and we do the percentage of that's the percentage of the total population, so I see most of the larger towns do fund us.
And are we in that group that doesn't fund because we do it through the 1%?
No, we include Wilmington.
To include us, okay.
Wilmington is included.
Yeah.
Now, should you fund us today, then I can write my press release tomorrow saying that 22 towns have funded us. This is always the last one we do.
I bet you get a lot of money from Somerset.
Like we do.
That's what.
Some of the towns do have lower populations, smaller requests, for sure.
We get 5 acorns or something.
I mean, we don't send a request, actually. I'm just gonna say.
Don't go down that road.
But anyway, so we do send it out to every town and then we are successful.
What did we give last year? When you say
It
because the
was-
population
okay,
was up, what was the?
Checking on here, it was 5,628 based on the previous population of 1,176 from the previous census. So. It's, and, you know, the amount, if we request the amount based on $3 per person, and some towns choose to adjust it, I will say.
Up or down?
Usually down. Usually down, but we are happy if towns like to increase the request, of course.
So since you brought that up, is the population of Wilmington increasing? Is that why you raised it?
The 2020 census number for Wilmington is 2,255.
By the way, it's good. That's
More
good.
than the previous. So that is the request. Just, I do actually, the copy that's in your packet does not have Adam's signature, so I did bring
Oh
it.
my God.
I did bring it with Adam's
The world
signature.
has ended.
We were in different times on Friday, so there's the actual request of the signature. It was one of those days, everyone was somewhere else, but we connected.
All right, would somebody like to make a motion?
I move to approve the 1% request from Sebed in the amount of $6,765.
Second?
Second.
All right, we have motion second, to fund Sevens, the amount of $6,765. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much. I just end with a final plug for the Southern Vermont Economy Summit happening in Mount Snow in 2 weeks from today. Should attend, great agenda, a lot of events. We look forward to being back in the area.
Good
See
job.
you. Thank you, Meg.
Thank you.
The select board to possibly approve funding the groundwater availability study by Hoffer Consulting Incorporated, the amount of $4,150. I sent you the scope. Remember, this is one of the considerations that came out of our meeting on the 25th. And there was the Wayne Elliott out of A&E suggested to start with a water supply desktop study. So the attached proposal from Hoffer Associates for assessing the groundwater availability in the area of Route 9 and 100. A&E worked with Jeff on all of their groundwater supply projects. He's very well respected within the state, and his fee for this work would be $4,150. And I'm proposing and recommending that we take it from the 1% fund. This is outside of the scope of any of the project details that we've provided to all of our funders.
Do you need a motion?
I have a question first. Which is the same question I asked you via email about where the wells need to be located.
For the wells,
Yeah, we're doing a water well inventory, right?
no,
They're looking to see where the water is,
Right.
because they know that a bunch of properties out
oh,
there
I'm
have
sorry,
high.
yes, that's part of the scope, yes.
Yes. Why this area? I mean, just,
That was the proposal that came out of the meeting on the 25th with Chris suggesting that there was plenty of.
no,
water in
I
this
heard
area.
Chris say that. I guess what I'm trying to get at is, and tell me if I'm wrong on this, because this is sort of the question asked via email, was the wells that we currently have,
We don't have wells.
Spring.
springs,
We have
excuse me,
springs.
we have springs.
And
The
then,
springs,
and we have the lake
the springs and the lake flow into the Wilmington Heights Reservoir.
reservoir. Yes,
And they're chlorinated.
and they're treated.
Treated and-
whatever
okay.
goes into it, yes.
So if we had these wells down on the Route 9 area, where would the water go? Would it need to be treated?
Yes. And I don't know to what extent, and I don't know how much, I mean, I think that was part of the whole idea, is first of all, to see if there's a water source there. Because the suggestion is that if there's a water source there, then the question would be, would we be able to purchase it, lease it, and what the treatment facility would be in that
So
area?
I guess what I'm trying to get to is, I understood from Chris's comments that we may need more water. But my thought is, and I am glad to be told I'm totally wrong, is that it really doesn't necessarily need, the water doesn't necessarily need to be in the area that's mapped here. It could be someplace else, as long as we have additional water resources. And so I was wondering if it was closer to Wilmington Heights, would that be better than a water source that's down here?
The suggestion was that it would not be better, because.
It's a dead end line.
Because of the long dead end line.
Okay. But it would still need to be treated potentially.
I suspect there's gonna have to be some kind of filtration and treatment system, yes.
Okay, all right.
May I, if I'm not mistaken, from that other meeting, if there was a sufficient well on the eastern side of the community, as well water would not need to be treated or chlorinated. Right?
I don't think there's
As
an
long as it
absolute,
wasn't intermingled with the lake water, that does need to be treated.
I would not want to say that. I would not
It's not as if-
I'm
What?
so I'm not part of the water.
But you were here.
that was a theory
Okay,
and an opinion,
all right.
but I did not hear that from the engineer.
Okay, thank you.
We don't know, I think is
I mean,
the,
this is the beginning of saying,
It should be tested
first of
anyway.
all,
Would have to be tested.
so
And we need
remember,
to find out if we.
part of what's coming
other
out
water
of,
resources
part of
available.
what's coming out of that meeting
I'd rather
is,
do it now than later.
a fuller memorandum from Aldrich and Elliott, okay? And so I would say, fire me back some questions, I will send them to him to include in his memo. I don't think I have all the answers at this point, and I'm not gonna go out on a limb and say one opinion is the right opinion.
All right.
Until we find out, first of all, we find out whether or not there's water there.
Yep.
The idea of whether or not it's going to be treated, I think, depends on the well itself. And I don't know what the answer is to that.
Thank you.
And keep in mind too, we talked about this loop, so that you don't have stagnant water. But every one of our water pipes right now has a dead end.
Right, and
Every
they went
one of
over
them.
that.
And we haven't had any problems.
They said they were not gonna have a loop. If I'm, not going too far afield on this, one of the situations was the longer the line gets, the more chlorination at the beginning of it than at the end. And that was one of the aspects that brought some reasonable concern.
Yeah, I understand.
Some of the people at the beginning then need a dechlorinization program to drink the water. Yeah, it's involved, and I'm not a water expert under any circumstances.
No, and I think that's part of the process going forward, is that we understood that there were
these known risks, and how that is treated and managed is the question, I think, over time. I was gonna wait until a little bit later, but since you've gotten into it, remember there was some conversation about a chlorine booster.
Yes.
Okay, so Wayne has had a discussion with a fellow by the name of Willie Nickerson at the Drinking Water Division at the state level regarding this question, as he is the engineering section supervisor. As Wayne expected, he confirmed that the regulations and water supply rules are silent on this issue and not very clear. However, boosting the chlorine is allowed, and he offered a couple of examples where this is done in other water systems. There are some different methods to accomplish this, but it will come at some cost. It may only be temporary until more customers connect. I'll present some options here and with the budgets as we get the memorandum and things. So another area of concern was sampling. One suggestion that William had was to do some sampling at the end of the existing water line of Route 9 this summer, the way it exists. It would be good to check the chlorine residual and gather this data, and Wayne would double check what we have set up, but we may be able to input this data into the hydraulic model prepared for the asset management plan and run some simulations based on various demands. Before we did this, we would need to better understand the calibration and accuracy of the data outputs. That gets into stuff I just don't understand.
Okay.
But
he's just gonna give us a study. That's all we're looking to do right now.
this is an initial study to say, here's where there's possibly we could look further in terms of, remember the options were leasing or purchase from a landowner or things of that nature. Because you have to have a certain area around the well in terms of protected area as well. I mean, I think it's somewhat involved.
Yeah, thank you.
So would somebody like to make a motion?
I move to approve the funding of the groundwater availability study by Hopper Consulting in the amount of $4,150 from the 1% local option tax fund.
All right, do we have a second? Second. All right, we have motion and second to approve the study from Harper Consulting in the amount of $4,150. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I do have one question now.
Which is always one.
Well, it doesn't affect the vote at all because I think we need to do it, but on the last page on the map here, the approximate boundary for the study area, that's looks fairly significant. Does this mean that in the unspecified future that there is a possibility of extending the water sewer out to Share Hill?
I mean, that's entirely up to the water commission, I would say.
I know, but I'm just saying, is that something that might be in
It's not
anybody's radar at this point?
No,
We're not looking at the sewer, right?
it's not anything we considered this.
And we didn't have, Sure Hill is like residential, it's not really a commercial area,
So no fresh water for them.
what's that?
No fresh water for them.
They have their own fresh water in their wells.
Okay. All right, Scott.
Thank you very much. We're all becoming more and more educated, I think. As well. Under other business, we would like to promote, to avoid holiday weeks, we'd like to promote June the 4th is the first Tuesday of the month. And we have to keep that one because Agency of Transportation will be here to talk about bridge number 31.
Right.
Subsequently, we're getting to July and also Labor Day, and we're suggesting the second meeting of the month for the single meetings being July 16th, August 20th, and September 17th. See, when Jessica leaves, it takes her 3 weeks to catch up to what I've already done.
Yeah. So I went to post your notice and realized last summer you guys did the second meeting of the month because your first meeting falls on holiday weeks, which are short weeks and makes the office is really busy and throwing meetings in make it a little
And you like to go on
more
vacations, I think.
stressful, and some people, it's hard to wrangle for a meeting. So
We get it, we
if
get
we
it.
keep
get
with
it.
last year's theme and do the second meeting, it avoids some of that.
So the 4th is a Tuesday in.
In
June.
June
and
4th
we're
will
doing
keep.
that.
Keep
We're
that
keeping
one,
that.
and then go to the second meeting
And then-
through subsequent month,
Okay,
through September.
so
So you will avoid Labor Day.
the 16th, you're looking at the 16th and the 20th.
And
No
September-
second meeting
and
in June,
September
right?
17th.
Right.
So I figured, right?
Anybody have a
I
problem
can,
with
I can
that?
set out an email.
Obviously, if we have to have an emergency meeting, we'll have an emergency.
I just got paid.
We all
so
love those, right?
Will this have an impact?
No.
Okay, we're on a roll tonight.
All right.
All right, good.
So-
Sounds, we have general consent. Thank you.
General consent, that's all you need?
That's it. Thank you.
Perfect, okay.
We will make,
Select board members. Tony, anything you'd like to add?
I can't think of anything right now, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Vince,
Not at this time.
John?
No. Wow.
My hero was all ready for you. What? You're always the one. I was ready.
We're all waiting to see what's gonna happen up in Montpelier. Nothing's happening here, and of course, we don't.
what do you mean? They're gonna be done this week.
Well, gee, it seems like our representative hasn't been in touch with us, John, not in 2 years.
There's some changes in Act 250.
Yes.
There's-
That hasn't been signed yet. Have they signed that?
No.
No, I didn't think they
Positive
did.
acts, or I don't know if it's passed.
The education fund's a mess. They've reached a compromise.
Tax sales a mess.
To make it
Open
half a
meeting law's a
mess?
mess.
Huh?
The tax sales a mess. Open meeting law's a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, the changes.
They're all a mess.
They made a lot of messes up there.
They're all a
Yeah.
mess.
Changing the rules on, yeah, I can't wait to see what the final reading is on tax sale stuff and interest that we can charge. And things
That's
like
a
that.
mess.
It's going to be.
Trying to decipher the new open meeting law one is not fun.
They miss them.
Yep.
It's tough, it's tough. Okay, sir, anything you want to add? I don't have anything to add, Scott.
The Fearless Futures Fair, town departments participated, the town clerk, the police and fire departments this year, and I don't think they had the same amount of students as they used to have. Or they had last year. Didn't seem as busy.
I guess. They told me it wasn't independent. Oh, she hates my guts. Yeah, just figured that.
Yep, other schools went last year.
I just wanted to share the wealth with her.
The Vermont Craft Beer and Chili Stroll by the Chamber of Commerce. Number of attendees, they estimated at 325. The amount awarded was $4,454. They had fairly nice weather, although it did get cold as the evening progressed. The snowstorm earlier in the week probably had an impact on attendance, and the Eclipse events were a good draw for attendees to stay the full weekend. I might have mentioned that I have a new program manager for FEMA, and we're working on the water utility road, and Marshall is happily helping.
They're wonderful folks.
On April the 30th, we had a stormwater master plan review with Evan Fitzgerald and some state folks. And the outcomes are 5 to 6 projects. We selected 5 to 6 projects to work on. One of them will be, they're looking at East Main Street is a possible area where existing stormwater feature behind the mobile station. That's possible. That might not happen down here on that mobile station. The town garage has some sites that they're interested in doing some work on. Beaver Street, evidently
we have two catch basins at the bottom, and it's rained enough last year that every time they came, it rained, and they saw sheets and sheets of water going down the street. They'd like to do something there. To me, it sounds like a really large dry well. It's a structure that they would put underneath, either underneath where the Veterans Park will go, or over by OSEC to collect stormwater. And remember, in the future, they're talking about existing 3-acre or more sites that are impervious surfaces where stormwater, they are looking to treat before it gets into the river. And so this is an ongoing thing. Any new construction, it's a half an acre. If you have a half an acre of impervious surface, you have to have some kind of a treatment plan for stormwater runoff. Another area was Pond Loop. Pond Loop, remember, is up in Chimney Hill, and it involves, it's in an area where there are there's a pond there, but there's also some of our roads and some of the Chimney Hill roads, and they were looking at that site to come up with a plan to deal with there. Lake Rapana Road was another possibility. There evidently is a catch basin down there that Marshall went looking for the other day, or you went, and then Twin Valley has sort of a green feature between the road and in the parking lot, and they were looking at that. So there are some possibilities there. The idea here is that they would come up with a 30% design plan that would be accepted by the state, and it's all state money in these particular cases. So if they select some of these projects, it should be all state funded.
Couldn't we just build a bigger dam at Lake Rapana?
If you can get it all to go there, yeah. Oh, by the way, somebody from A&R, Marie Caduto, who's on the call with us, suggested that it was a state dam, and I said, you can have it. Oh. And she said, no, I think it is. I said, well, you take it any day you want. Yeah. Any day you want. So it's kind of interesting. Marshall has been spending a fair amount of time with them last year, going around and learning new stuff, talking to them, and so they'll be back. Is it this week? Are you coming back this week?
I think I should be back last Friday.
Okay.
This Friday might be sometime.
Yeah. So they'll be scoping out these areas and creating what they call a 30% design.
Tell them we'll give them the dam.
I did tell them.
Let's just put the property of the state of Vermont. Right on.
There you go. Over the time period that I've been here, I've tried to give it away. This is the third time now.
They come up, said the state owns the dam. I said, whoa. I said, town's funding some engineering for that. Let us know, because we can stop that for. She said, no, the town owns it, or the state owns it. Yeah. They come around, they're looking at it.
Yes. Therese and a few others have talked about the park and ride, the Blink electric vehicle charging stations over there. Evidently, some folks have been having trouble with the apps and stuff like that. And we sent some emails to Blink, and hopefully they'll remedy it. I guess one of the issues is you said there was no telephone number that people can call. I think it's supposed to all happen through the app, but I'm also guessing that I don't know how much of this is operator error on that, but.
I tested them for Gretchen last summer.
And they work?
No.
Oh, they didn't work?
Really?
No.
They're supposed to fix them.
I downloaded the app, I did everything I was supposed to, and I could not get them to work.
Really? Okay.
But you see people plugged in all the time.
I don't know.
A lot of them are still plugged in, so.
They may work for
You
some
have the
people.
wrong card.
Well, I tend to stay away
It's
from.
not a Tesla plug.
Well, Tesla superchargers are a lot easier to use.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just plug in. You don't do anything else.
Dam engineering firm determination was MSK out of Bennington.
Automatically connects to your account.
On May 13th. So if anyone wants to learn about dams, May the 13th, if you show up at the dam, we're going to have a quick talk around 1 o'clock. So it's out there. I believe the chair.
I'm going.
He's out here, you have to have all
I still can't believe we own that dam. I never knew that until this year.
Green Up Day was May the 4th, and it was very successful. Kathy Larson and Anthony Martino are co-chairs, and Marshall and the Highway Department, of course, partnered up with them. They, Kathy said she'll write a more complete report later. But for now, she wanted us to know that all went well on their end on Saturday. There were over 65 volunteers, 200 bags given out. The only major road that they didn't get a report from anyone was Sugar Hill Road.
But someone was doing it on Sunday.
When we picked up, there was a phone in the back, maybe down at your end, one end of that.
Yeah, I saw someone on my end. doing it
Also-
on Sunday.
Also, there was nobody registered at Midbury.
No young people.
Oh, it's all orphans out there.
It used to be, sure.
She's
Okay.
very happy, of course, with the assistance from Marshall and his team. So, Recreation Commission, they hired a new director and counselors. They've completed all that. And as you know from the last meeting, we have a settlement agreement on April the settlement agreement dated April 3rd, 2024 between 34 Look Road LLC, the town of Wilmington, Jennifer Nilsson, and Eric Potter as parties to this agreement regarding an appeal docketed as 34 Look Road LLC, permit 22-EMV-00055 to the Vermont Superior Court Environmental Division was approved by the Select Board. The judgment order application is approved, subject to conditions that were set forth in Exhibit B. The town has issued an amended zoning permit at the court's direction. This matter in its entirety is concluded before the court.
Good news.
That's all I have.
All right. Anyone else have anything for the good of Wilmington? Then how about an adjournment?
Moved.
All right, we have a second. All right, we have a motion to adjourn with a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we are out before 7.
Or 7.